A vague way of denoting a quantity is by using singular and plural, where singular denotes one and plural denotes many or more than one. You are aware that in English, a singular word can be converted to a plural by adding an s at the end of the word. This is a generic way of doing it, and there are a few exceptions to it. In French too, we generally add an s to convert the noun or adjective into its plural form. But here, we have a lot of exceptions. So go through the various rules for forming plurals. There are two rules which are generally used to form a plural. Let's go through the first generic rule. Adding an s. This rule is a simple one and requires to add an s at the end of the singular word to form its plural. Examples: the singular le garçon becomes les garçons in plural. Une craie becomes des craies. L'enfant becomes les enfants. Observe the addition of s at the end of the word. Also, observe how the articles change their form based on the number of the noun. The examples here show the use of this rule and also some new nouns for you to learn. Words ending in s, x and z. All nouns or adjectives which end in s, x and z remain the same for their plural form. Here are some examples for you. Here, the words remain the same, only their corresponding articles change to the plural form. Another important point to observe is that in all words which end in s, x and z, these last consonants are not pronounced. There are some special rules which are followed by some words to form their plural. EAU changes to EAUX. For nouns and adjectives ending in EAU, the EAU changes to EAUX. That is, you just need to add an X to EAU to make it plural. Examples: le chapeau changes to les chapeaux. Le bateau changes to les bateaux, and so on. AL changes to AUX. For nouns and adjectives ending in AL, the AL changes to AUX to form its plural. Examples: le signal changes to les signaux. Le journal changes to les journaux, and so on. There are some exceptions to this rule, wherein certain words ending in AL just take an S to form its plurals. See the given examples. AIL changes to AILS. For words ending in AIL, the AIL changes to AILS. That is, we just have to add an S at the end of the word to make it plural. Go through the given examples. Here, there is an exception where in some words the AIL changes to AUX. Examples: le travail becomes les travaux. Le bail becomes les baux, and so on. OU changes to OUS. For words ending in OU, the OU changes to OUS. That is, we just need to add an S to OU to make it plural. Go through these examples. There are some exceptions to this rule, wherein you add an X at the end of the word to make it plural. See this table here. Recall the rule. When a word begins with a silent H, the preceding article NE or NA changes to N apostrophe. But in the example, le hibou, the H in the noun hibou is not silent. Hence, the masculine article le does not change to N apostrophe and remains the same. EU changes to EUX. For words ending in EU, the EU changes to EUX, that is, you just need to add an X to EU to make it plural. Go through these examples shown. Two masculine forms. If you recall the chapter on gender, it covers a topic which specifies that certain adjectives have two masculine singular forms whose use depends on the first alphabet of the noun. That is, if the noun begins with a vowel or silent H, or the noun begins with a consonant. Example: beau for consonants and belle for vowels and silent H. Both mean handsome in masculine. Coming to the plural form of these two masculine singular forms, both these forms have a common plural, that is, beau. Things will be clear to you from the table shown here. Let's see some examples. Le beau garçon in singular becomes les beaux garçons in plural. La belle homme in singular becomes les beaux hommes in plural. Observe that both the examples have a common plural for both the forms. The feminine singulars for the adjectives of this category use a general rule of adding an S at the end of the word to form its plural. Examples: the feminine singular form of the adjective beautiful is belle. By just adding an S, its feminine plural can be formed as belle. The feminine singular form of the adjective old, that is VL, becomes VL in its plural form. Names. In French, the family surname always remains the same for the singular and the plural form. This is exactly the opposite in the English language. Examples: in English, the Desmond family is referred to as the Desmonds, whereas in French, it is referred to as les Desmonds. The Brown family is referred to as the Browns, whereas in French, it is referred to as les Browns. Observe that only the article preceding the surname is used in its plural form, that is, les in this case. By now, you must be aware of the French words for Mr. or Sir, Mrs. or Madam, and Miss or Young Lady. Based on that, here are some mentions which you can use to address a person. M. Dot is short for Monsieur. MME is short for Madame. MLLE is short for Mademoiselle. Example: Monsieur Leroy can be written as M. Leroy. Madame Pereira can be written as MME Pereira. Mademoiselle Lillian can be written as MNLE Lillian. General words. Now glance through a few words which have their own plural forms and don't follow any particular rules. By now, you are well acquainted with nouns, adjectives, and their singular and plural forms. You are also fully aware about the various articles and their use based on the gender and number of the noun. In this section, you'll be learning about the relation between partitive articles, nouns, and adjectives in the plural form. The relation is as mentioned here. When the plural adjective comes before a plural noun, then the partitive article they changes to the. Things will be clear with some examples. Let's see a few sentences without adjectives in the plural form. J'ai des crayons means I have some pencils. Nous achetons des robes means we buy some dresses. The rule mentioned in this section is not applicable to these sentences since they do not consist of an adjective. Now let's take some sentences which consist of adjectives in the plural form. J'ai des crayons rouges means I have some red pencils. Nous achetons des robes bleues means we buy some blue dresses. If you observe here, both the sentences consist of an adjective in the plural form, but these plural adjectives are placed after the plural noun. This does not satisfy the condition mentioned in the rule, and hence the partitive article they remains as is. Lastly, let's take some examples in which the plural adjectives are placed before the plural noun. J'ai des longs crayons means I have some long pencils. Nous achetons des belles robes means we buy some beautiful dresses. These sentences satisfy the condition mentioned in the rule. The plural adjectives long and belle are placed before the plural nouns crayon and robe respectively. Hence, based on the relationship rule, the partitive article they changes to the. Thus, the correct form of the above sentences respectively becomes J'ai de longs crayons. Nous achetons de belles robes. We have given some sentences here. Some of them are in the wrong form. Correct those if required based on the relationship rule mentioned in this section. Il y a des petites chats dans la chambre means there are little cats in the room. Madame Leroy a des grandes peintures dans sa maison means Mrs. Leroy has great paintings in her house. Des jeunes filles entrent dans la classe means young girls enter the classroom. Il y a des vieux étudiants dans la université means there are old students in the university. La France a d'anciens monuments means France has some ancient monuments. This concludes the chapter on singular and plural. Do be in touch with the rules and words that you have come across in this chapter. These are commonly used words and are generally used in writings and conversations.